Hello and welcome. You're listening to another episode of the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs, and I'm your host, Brian Silverthorne. And it's my mission to always help entrepreneurs make a difference that they want in their business and to navigate the often messy worlds of startup, growth, or relaunch. And today we're going to dig deep with our special guest and get you some great concepts and strategies to fast track your business. And our special guest today is Susie Schaefer. And Susie is known as the Transformational Book Coach. She believes that books are the gateway to creating a movement. So welcome to the show, Susie.
Thanks so much for having me, Brian.
Happy to have you here and anxious to learn some more about you and what goes on. So where are you hanging out today?
So hanging out in my office, keeping cool. I'm in Southern California, and it can get kind of warm here.
It can. I'm in Northern California, and it can get kind of warm here too on occasion. We've just gone through a bunch of 100-degree days.
Yeah, us too. So it's nice to have another fellow Californian.
Yeah, or at least we're both in the same time zone here.
Exactly.
Okay, to get started, so who is your ideal client?
My ideal client are coaches, consultants, established business owners, entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, those types of people that are looking to expand their business and their footprint, really being able to get seen as the expert in their area or their field of expertise. And launching a book can really help somebody do that.
Yeah, books give a lot of credibility to people, the fact that they have one and it gets their thoughts and ideas out there in print and also gives them can be used to give them a bigger name in the marketplace. So what's the biggest problem you solve for them?
The biggest problem I solve for authors is really helping them bring together their story, their brand, and their community. I call that the trifecta of publishing. So it really helps them to have clarity on what those three things are, and then breaking it down and kind of creating the book in small bite-sized pieces so that it's not overwhelming. Many times, business owners, they don't have a lot of time to do the writing, but they know that this is something that is going to help with their marketing and really kind of set them apart from other people in their field. But having the guidance and having someone to coach them through that process can be a game changer for a lot of entrepreneurs, because it's a way to fit that writing time and the entire process of writing, editing, production, all of those things into your schedule so that you're not feeling this massive overwhelm in addition to, your day-to-day job.
Yeah, that I like that trifecta, the story, the brand, and the community, because all of those things have to kind of mesh to make sure that you're attracting the right people and doing the right things.
Exactly. And what we see a lot of times in the publishing world is that when people do business books, they become a little bit boring, a little bit stale. And so that's really where I like to pull the story out of the author. Why is it that you do your business? Why do you do what you do? Who do you serve? Let's talk about that. What is your brand all about? Who's your community? Like, how do we bring all those things together? Because that is what sets you apart and highlights your uniqueness in the business world so that people can say, oh gosh, I want to work with that person.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue into my next question. What are your ideal clients' symptoms? What's going on with them that cause them to reach out to you for help?
Stuckness, really. A lot of times authors or business owners that aspire to be an author, they know that it's probably the next step for them as far as really rounding out their marketing plan, but yet they don't know where to start. They're stuck. They're thinking, I think I have an idea for a book, or I've been kind of like noodling this thought about how to create a book around maybe my program, or I want to do the book and then the program, or something to that effect, but they really don't know how to get out of their own way. And so that's where working with a book coach can really help people get unstuck, get past that block. Sometimes it's an emotional block. Sometimes it's a past trauma that has not been healed. Sometimes it's just, I'm overwhelmed with day-to-day life. And so working with a coach can really help that author get unstuck, release those blocks and move forward, because there's a plan in place that we create specifically for that author to help them overcome all that stuff and to feel like they have forward movement, rather than just sitting there, having monkey mind and thinking about what do I do next, right?
Well, that I like that answer. It sounds as if you have to be a part psychologist as well as coach too in some of these cases, right?
I do not claim to be a therapist, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of that type of work that goes into what I do and how I work with people. And that's why people call the process when they work with me transformational, because it really is about, let's go deep. Let's talk about your story. Let's talk about who you are, who you serve, that community, your brand, all those pieces, and bring them together. Because when we break it down, it makes it really easy for the author to kind of wrap their heads around it and say, okay, I can do this piece today and not feel that overwhelm. And then when we pull it all back together, we actually kind of reverse engineer their book using a method that I call the sticky note method. And when we reverse engineer that book and then bring it all together, they can see the bigger picture. They can see how this all comes together. And it makes a lot of sense for them without having those feelings of stuckness or overwhelm.
Right. Great. So we're doing good. We got about 5.5 minutes left. So what are the most common mistakes your clients are making? What's going on with them now that you discover when you start working with them?
I think one of the most common mistakes that my clients make is usually before they come to me, they've already embarked on the process and they tried to go it alone. And you really do need a team, just like with your business. You have a team of people who handle your bookkeeping and accounting, and they might handle your marketing, and they might handle sales, and they might handle administrative tasks. You need a team to do your book, because if you try and go it alone, you're gonna muck it up. It's just kind of like the way it works. I can't even tell you how many books I've been brought into after they've been published to fix or to release a second edition because the author wasn't happy with the first result. And the process may have been painful for them. And so getting the right team and working with a coach at the very onset is really the biggest gift you could give yourself and the best investment you could make in making sure that that final result of your book is something that you're proud of and that highlights your own trifecta, your story, your brand, and your community, to bring all that together for your clients.
Yeah, it's in any business, it's tough to go it alone. You got to have some people around you that you trust and that can help you out and are as invested in your success as you are. So if someone's considering reaching out to you, they haven't done that yet, what's one action that they could take right now that would help them out? Won't solve all their problems, but it'll give them a start.
Well, the first action is to schedule a free consultation with me. It's a 30-minute call where we can actually say, okay, what are your goals? What is your plan? What are you trying to achieve here? And then what are the next best steps? Whether it's working with me or somebody else, I want to make sure that I help that client, that potential author, get out of their own way and have a path to move forward. I think that's really the most important thing.
Great. Makes perfect sense. So on that note, where can people find you to schedule that call?
So people can find me on finishthebookpublishing.com. That's my website. There is a button to schedule a free consultation. And there's also kind of an overview of some of the services I offer, whether it's a book visioning session or whether you want one-on-one coaching or whether you'd like to just enroll in my my author evolution program, which is an online program that helps authors just understand all the nuts and bolts that goes into the publishing process. So there's that. And then I also am part of another partnership as well. It's called Rogue Publishing Partners, roguepublishingpartners.com, which is a platform specifically designed for nonfiction authors. It's a place where business owners and clients can come and do, shopping, like one-stop shopping. Everything that you need for publishing is right there. So you could create your own team on your own, or you can hire a book coach to help you with that process.
Great. So since all entrepreneurs have challenges, even those that are 6, 7, and 8 figure earners, what's your biggest challenge right now? We got a minute and a half left.
I think my biggest challenge is just to develop consistency. I think with any business, any entrepreneur, you're going to have the ebb and flow of business. It can be kind of a roller coaster sometimes. So developing that consistency month over month, year over year, to really maintain the success of your business.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. That's good advice. Commitment and consistency are two very big things to keep you going when times get tough, and they do. So before we end here, what's one question I should have asked and didn't?
You should have asked me why the pineapple.
Okay, Susie, why the pineapple?
So you'll notice that the pineapple is my logo. And when I first designed my logo, I wanted it to represent hospitality, which is a big part of my background. And hospitality, friendship, and welcoming is what the pineapple represents. So if you look very closely at my logo, you'll see that the pineapple at the top has pages of a book. And in the body of the pineapple, those little squares are little tiny books that represent all the books that I help people put out into the world.
Wow, a logo with a message. I like that, other than just something that's a stamped on the brand. So thank you for that. Well, folks, that wraps another great guest episode of the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs with our very special guest, Susie Schaefer. And just before you go, if you enjoyed the episode, please give us a 5-star review. And if you'd be so kind, maybe share it with a couple of your friends so they may benefit from it. And if you don't want to miss any shows in the future, you can go to evolvepreneursecrets.show. And if you're an entrepreneur, let's get your next great idea started today.